That's the tune that introduced Great Big Sea to many Canadians, and 3 decades later, singer Alan Doyle is keeping that party going, celebrating more than 30 years in the business with a book, a tour, and a new album. We welcome Mr. Alan Doyle to the program this morning. Thanks so much for being here. Good morning to you. How do you feel more than 30 years into this career?
It was great looking at that picture or that video, actually. I remember doing that video back in 1955 or something, whenever it was. It was great fun. You know, I feel so lucky to still be going across the country and still getting audiences out and getting a chance to, to sing for a living. It's a real privilege, man.
Now, your tour and your EP called Already Dancing. How are people enjoying the show so far?
Oh, it's great fun. We've done a couple of gigs, and we just the record comes out in a few weeks, and the earliest singles have come out to great response, including "Take It Easy with Me," which is our little Jimmy Buffett-esque kind of tune about escaping the winter cold, and I know we're both getting lots of that. My whole life has been about giving people a great night out in the club or in the beer garden or in the theater, and when we come to Edmonton in February or in March rather, it's like. I've always had the greatest nights out there. Like, no matter what venue we're playing, people love to sing, they love to dance, and they love to make a great night of it. And it's going to be a great one that week, too.
Absolutely. We love you bringing the vibes out here. Now, I want to talk about your book, Smiling Land. It's about your home province.
Yeah.
What made you put pen to paper on this book now?
Well, I just thought it would be a great little sort of travel guide for people. Over the years, people have asked me so often about where they should go if they come to Newfoundland and Labrador and the like. And I just thought I'd document one of my trips around the province and use that trip as a little way to discuss some of the more peculiar and wonderfully weird things that make us unique and awesome out here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Well, certainly a lot of Newfoundlanders out here in Edmonton that will appreciate that book. But you also said you wrote it for your son, who also grew up there. So why this angle for your son?
Well, Henry he's 19 now, but he was about 18 when we did most of the trips for this book. And me and my wife just figured that it would be probably our last time that we convinced him to sit in a van with us for 5 or 6 days in a row. So we drove him around Newfoundland and Labrador, and it was a wonderful experience. Seeing some things through his eyes, because in an odd kind of way, even though I was born, in long before the internet and the like, I feel like I know my backyard a bit more than him, and yet it was great to have him. It was great to hear his commentary on the whole thing, and like his final thing was like, Newfoundland and Labrador is a really big place with not many people in it, and I was like, that is exactly right.
Now, what would you say to people from Edmonton who have maybe been to your show or very familiar with Newfoundland but haven't made it there yet? It's attractive to go further abroad, maybe sometimes even cheaper, and miss some of the gems in our own country.
Yeah, well, Newfoundland and Labrador is far, right? It's far from everything. And I used to downplay that when I was a younger person, but I think now that that's okay, and that's a bit of a sell point, is like, one of the reasons you probably haven't been to Newfoundland is because it's hard to get to, and it's hard to get to, so it makes it more special when you get here. And there are fewer accidental tourists here than you might find on a beach in Florida or something. It's like the people, and so it makes for a more interesting and more rewarding trip. And it makes it more special. And I think how remote and isolated the place is really gives it an experience that you can't have in any of the more the more easy to get to places.
Well, we appreciate the invitation to come with the new book, and we certainly like that you're coming our way in March. Alan, thanks so much for taking some time to talk with us this morning.
Really looking forward to it. I always like my nights out in Edmonton. Cheers, everybody.
Well, we'll have a good one. The tour arrives in Edmonton March 21st at the Northern Jubilee Auditorium. Tickets are on sale now.